I guess one question we didn't cover, like I feel like we've talked about it, how tipping is very discriminatory. Like people in bars are getting more, in restaurants, the females, the beautiful females are getting more than the average females, the beautiful females are getting more than the male females.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The female with the ass.
Or the females with ass. Okay, whatever. It's not fair, and you want to formalize it. Is there a point in formalizing something that's already so like
lopsided?
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely the one thing I can say is that, especially with the power that we have of actually building platforms using software, I can say that we can actually formalize tipping policies. So number one, you'll find restaurants that are very laissez-faire with tipping. But you find that the well-run restaurants and hotels, they usually do a tip jar. Yeah. And there's a reason why they do it. Number one, first of all, it eliminates this whole privacy thing whereby you're actually sharing your phone
And when you
number
say
with someone.
tip jar, it's physical money.
Like a physical cash tip jar. And then also you have like the unfairness issue whereby you're tipping a specific person more than someone else. So the tip jar actually solves that. Tip the establishment, and then what happens, that tip jar is not managed by the restaurant. It's managed by the staff. It's basically the manager is the one who, maybe has organized them. There's a chairman, there's a treasurer, there's a secretary. You find in hotels, they're actually very organized with it. It's part of like their welfare thing. So we can actually use software to simulate those policies because hotels do that for a reason. So we're actually doing that at Shukran, whereby we're basically building a platform that allows you to tip privately, and also you're able to tip all the staff and not just a specific individual. You can tip a specific individual using Shukran, but now we're also doing it where you can tip the entire staff.
But something, you've not told us how the system works.
Yeah, so basically...
Just for a typical waiter, waitress.
So definitely, the one thing that we do is that we have placements like table talkers on the tables with a QR code and just scan to tip. So you scan the QR code, depending on the restaurant's policy, it will take you to search for the person's Shukran ID or name, or you can tip their phone number. And then once you actually put in their phone number or Shukran ID, you go and enter the amount, and then you ask for the payment. You put the payment method. So it's either card or M-Pesa. And then we'll add other payment methods. If you want to even do Bitcoin, we can add that later on. And then you just tip. Yeah. So it's this 4-step process that we've made very simple. And then even for the tip jar, or at least for tipping everyone, it's this centralized QR code. You enter the amount and then you tip, and then now it just distributes to the staff. So yeah, we can actually use software to formalize
How
tipping.
do you register on the system?
Yeah, so especially for tippers, you just scan the QR code. You don't even need to register or put your password and all that. Just put in the amount, payment method. If it wants your phone number, if you're using M-Pesa, just ask for your phone number to put STK push.
For the waiter and the waitresses, do they come individually and sign up on Shukran? Does the restaurant sign up on their behalf?
So usually it's they can sign up individually, so they can receive tips individually, so they create an account. If they're tipped using their phone number, they actually receive an SMS to click a link and actually register and get their tip.
But
and
how
then
does,
they can...
okay.
Yeah?
So how does that still curb the discrimination? Because I'll still I'll scan the QR and be like, I'll tip Joseph, but no, let me tip Gadoni. Tip. Her tip amount still comes to female, male.
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing. And we actually realized this later on, is that once we built the app to basically, for privacy concerns, so I don't share my phone number with you and also don't get your phone number, we realized that there's that fairness issue. So having a centralized tip jar where all staff can actually benefit from tips is what we've actually built right now. So that's the problem we solved. So if we tackle another problem, either, the tax issue, we can also deal with that later on, because our whole idea in our thesis is that tipping changes lives, and we want to put more money into deserving service workers' hands.
And
so if we can actually facilitate that and make it as fair as possible, will do it. And also they can actually receive these tips to become financially empowered, to
And
save,
and,
to
and
invest.
what's in it for the wait? Why like me, I just like M-Pesa. You just be like, yo, what's your number M-Pesa? If I have cash, I'll give you money. What's in it for the service workers to use Shukran?
So what we do is that we've actually integrated it with tipping, and then you can also save and invest. So we actually regulated as a SACCO, whereby Shukran SACCO. So basically we're a SACCO for service workers in the hospitality industry and border rider industry. So when you actually receive a tip, you can actually transfer that money to your savings, and then you can actually get an interest rate on that based on your savings. You can get dividends off of that. You can get affordable credit. We'll eventually be adding insurance. So once you enter our universe, you can opt in to
all this other-
benefiting from these financial services.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You guys take a cut?
Yes, we do take a cut. So we take about 2.5% on tips that take place. So for 200 shillings, we take 5 shillings, and that's it.
And for no, nothing for 50 bob.
Huh?
No,
Yeah,
Kina Mary.
so
And,
now-
oh yeah,
so
every-
what-
everything under 100 bob is
So one point of friction, all of a sudden, let's say this services grow and has 1 million plus users processing 1 million shillings every day. KRA comes and says this is income,
Right.
so it should be taxed. Previously, KRA could not touch this money
Because it was informal,
It
you
was
could
informal.
never see it.
True.
Yeah.
now instead of receiving 100 bob, after taking 2.5%, KRA takes whatever 30% of the of that.
Yeah.
Then now the waiters and the waitresses are like, you know what?
Turkey.
Yeah, that's definitely something that has come up, and that's when we grow. But the one thing that I would say is that I'm ready for that. If KRA wants to sit at the table when we're large enough, we advocate for service workers, because the truth of the matter is, if it was not for Shukran formalizing the process, KRA would not have known about
But
this.
KRA won't care about it. They'll just pass a law and
You like tax this.
yes,
But,
tax.
but you know what they'll basically do is that they'll kill our business, and basically service workers will basically get tips in other areas. So the truth of the matter is that they'll kill our business, because people will stop using Shukran.
If this was fish tank, I was like, your business has regulatory risk
It really does.
on it.
True, but the one thing is that I'm saying is that we're doing this for a greater purpose than just money. Yeah, it's all about saying we want more money into deserving service workers' hands.
Yeah.
So that's our mission. And
Give me 30 seconds to tear your business apart. You're having a very small target audience.
He just has to. Sorry.
Okay.
That's what he does.
Your business has a very small target market. It has regulatory
Risks.
risk. If you're holding this money, CBK will come for you. They need a license from you, so you can't hold this money. Or you need a SACCO license if you're registered as a SACCO. As an investor, I have to put up a lot of money on you, and I must have friends in very high places to protect the business.
So basically, I'll actually combat that and say that right now, there are actually competitors in the market who are doing tipping right now.
Yeah.
A couple of established guys.
Pesapal. Equity.
Yeah, so they're doing tipping.
But I never
our-
tip with them. Yeah.
But our different angle, especially, is that whichever angle you get your tips, either M-Pesa, either Pesapal, either who, we have a circle where you can save and invest these tips.
Do you guys have
put this
circles?
money in.
Welfare, the job has.
The job has.
Yeah.
Okay. And for you?
Personally.
So what we actually found, which was very
I'm laughing.
interesting,
Sorry.
A point. I think you're talking about SACCOs, and then something popped into my mind. A good system, software system, is supposed to capture what's already happening.
Yeah.
Saving by itself in Kenya is now 3%. Only 3% of the population save, partly because we don't have money for that, and also saving is not our behavior. So the selling point is like, you can get the cash, right, there, and then you can save it. But we really don't save, right?
okay,
Yeah.
maybe let me just say combat that. The truth of the matter is that actually that number, the statistic you're talking about, 3% of people, only 3% of the population have more than 100K in their bank account or in savings. Yeah, but the opportunity, especially with service workers, is that they get a lot of this income this extra income, and maybe they're working in the hospitality industry for 5 years, they can actually save this income over time, and it can be something
And
so
I think that's where the
useful.
Have you
risk comes
saved?
back with Kere and what Zakayo is
no,
trying to do.
no.
When you hear extra income, he'll want to tax it
But
immediately.
between two of you, have you ever saved your tips?
No. but the structure he's coming up
The idea
with
is great.
would-
Because
yes,
but you
yes,
see, also
would
M-Pesa,
lead
Because
me
the
to
thing
that.
is,
M-Pesa-
is what we've actually come to find, because we've actually worked with a number of them and we have them in our team. What you find is that they hear about Shukran and they're just like, man, in hindsight, they're like, I wish I saved.
but they have
I
Mshwari.
wish.
You can just save in Mshwari,
But you
right?
can also withdraw
And then-
anytime.